Are we going live? Are we going live?
I think we're going live. We should go live.
Are we ready to go live?
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Araceli and Priscley. We're real estate agents here at Coldwell Banker Tri-Cities. And we are doing a session for you guys. If you guys have any real estate questions, anything at all, now is the time to ask. So we prepared for a couple questions ourselves, but if you guys have any questions, your questions are priority. So just go ahead and comment and we'll get to them right away. So Priscley, I got a question for you. Can I buy a home and sell my current home at the same time?
Yeah, definitely. So actually this happens a lot where people already own a house and they're getting ready to either upgrade, or sometimes people are downsizing. The square footage is too much on their current home. So the way this works is we need you guys to coordinate really well with your real estate agent, because both of you will need to work on timing. When we get your house listed, well, we have like a really solid real estate market in the Tri-Cities, so it more than likely means we will be getting under contract really soon, as long as we price everything correctly and your house shows well. What's going to happen during that same time that we're listed, we're going to recommend that we are looking for other houses as well. The goal is to get an offer on your house and submit an offer and have it accepted on the house that you're interested in, so that the closing dates on both will coincide. With that happening, then we can get the moving truck on the same day and get in your new house on the same day as you're moving out.
And that actually just happened to us about a month ago. So we had a seller, he put his house on the market, and I think 3 days later we had it under contract. So what we did is when we got the offer in, we extended the closing date. So they asked for 45 days, which is the norm. And we said, you know what, give us 60 days because our seller still needs to find a new home for himself. So that worked out perfectly. We closed both loans the same day. We sold his home first, and then literally right after his signing, we signed for his purchase. So that worked out very, very nice.
Yep. All right, so let me ask you the next question. And
Sweet.
remember, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in and we'll take care of them. We just prepared some questions so that we're not like standing here awkwardly. All right, so how many homes should I see before making an offer?
So that is going to be different with every buyer. The process is different with every buyer too. So I always tell my buyers, it's a gut feeling. When you walk into the home, you just know. And I don't care if you see 5 homes or if you see 100 homes. It's honestly that gut feeling. I was working with 2 clients, working with them the same amount of time. The first week, my client decided to make an offer on one home, and that was her 3rd house that she's seen. The other client actually waited about a month and a half to finally put an offer in, but it was both when they were comfortable and when they were ready. You know, don't be in a rush because you don't want to have that buyer's remorse. You really, really want to be sure that you're comfortable with everything.
I would agree. So totally, it's up to every individual buyer. It's your sport. We're just here to walk you through it. So it's on your time. It could be 3-4 houses and people are over it. They're like, I just want the second one that I saw. And then there's people that are like, I got to see everything under the moon, and that's fine. We'll take care of you.
Absolutely. And honestly, it's because you really don't even know. I mean, sometimes you walk in and you're saying, I don't want any townhouses. I don't want no condos. And then you probably will end up buying a townhouse or a condo. That's actually what happened to one of our clients too.
That's funny. You know, that's another good topic. What's the difference between a townhouse and then a residential home?
Yeah. So a townhouse, usually everything is taken care of as far as like the lawn and the maintenance for you, sprinklers, and it's kind of nice. So if you're a busy person, don't have too much time to do that, an ideal place would be a townhouse or a condo. And a regular home, guess what, it falls on you guys.
Right. You gotta have time for that yard work. All right, so
so I got another question for you.
Okay.
Do you think the seller will accept a fair price? Like, what price do you think a seller will accept?
What price will a seller accept? So every situation is super different. What it is when we come across a house that you like and you say, you know what, I'm ready to make an offer, number one thing we're going to do is we're going to do a CMA, and remind us to talk to you about what a CMA is later. But what it is we're going to compare what other houses have sold for that are similar to the one that you took interest in. We don't want to make an off the wall offer, something that's either going to A, offend the seller because it's super low, or B, obviously we wouldn't want you to be overpaying for anything. So it is case by case. Another thing that we are doing very much so right now is we're calling the listing agents because we need to know if we're in competition with another buyer. If that's the case, then we're going to tell you, let's go aggressive on our offer, whatever you're comfortable with paying the most for. If there's no other real interest on that property, then I would say let's shoot for a really good offer.
And yeah, guys, that's perfect advice, is that you want to make an offer that doesn't offend the seller, and an educated offer. You know, I know with sometimes some first-time home buyers are like, yeah, let's try to take $20,000 off price. And I'm like, well, why though? Like, why do you assume that? And you have to remember that there is another person on the end of that transaction. So I always tell my clients, let's make an educated offer. Let me show you what's sold in that area the last 3 to 6 months. The same style of home and all that good stuff, like the condition. That way you don't have buyer's remorse and you don't start thinking, did I pay too much for my house? It really gives the buyer, I feel like, more just reassurance. Like, you know what, I made an excellent offer. I put my best foot forward, and let's see what happens. Alrighty, your turn.
All right.
I think it's
How do I know if the property is a good deal?
So that's a great question. How do I know? It's kind of just leading to that other question we just answered, is we're going to do a CMA for you guys. We're going to compare that home to...
I was trying to read because I thought somebody asked us a question. But Teresa, hey Teresa, past client, she said, get it ladies, you're the best. And I don't have my glasses on. So thank you, Teresa. I seriously thought it was a question, so I'm like focusing in.
I just seen you looking at me and I'm like, oh man, do I have something on my face?
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to figure it out. Thank you, Teresa. We love you and we do miss you. You're one of the good ones.
Thank you guys for your support. But like I was saying, so we'll make sure we do a CMA, show you guys what is selling around that price range and around that area. And if you're getting a good deal, we just have to know what kind of market we're in. Are we in a seller's market? Are we in a buyer's market? And that's honestly really important to know. A lot of people say, we know right now it's a seller's market. Should we wait to put an offer in maybe next year? And I'm like, you know, unfortunately, I do not have a crystal ball, so I cannot predict how our market's gonna go. But I personally won't wait because everything's going up, whether it's new construction, whether it's rates. So absolutely don't wait. If you know if you're getting a good deal, it's just ask your real estate agent who you're working with, hey, you know, what do you see homes selling around this area, excuse me, and have them show you, you know, what has sold in the last 3 to 6 months and what is active in that area too, what's under contract, all that good stuff.
All right.
Alrighty, Priscley, how quickly can I close on my new home?
All right, so that's really exciting. We get a time frame going right as soon as the seller for the house that you chose, as soon as they accept the offer, then we're officially like on timeline mode. So it's gonna range. It's probably gonna be anywhere on average between 30 to 45 days from the time that the seller accepts your offer to the time that we hand over the keys. During that time though, there's a lot that's going on. So the first part was the fun part, was looking at the houses. Now we gotta buckle down and we gotta make sure we're staying in touch with our lender. We're getting him any paperwork that he's requesting from us. Everything is on a time basis. So there's also really important things that go on during those 30 to 45 days for you as a buyer. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we have the inspection. That's like number one within the first 10 days of being under contract. Reason being is that if there's issues with the house that we want to purchase a seller with, we have a right to negotiate repairs within the first 10 days. But if you can still have an inspection like the 15th or the 20th day, but then we can't back out based on the inspection. We give up our earnest money, which is a deposit that we give up front, saying, if we back out wrongfully, then you seller can keep that because we took you off the market. So there's going to be the inspection within the first 10 days. Usually around 2 weeks into being under contract, you're going to have the appraisal. Once the appraisal report comes back in to your lender, then it's all, like I said, anything that the lender needs as far as paperwork, we need to get it in as soon as possible because
they have underwriters,
right?
And they have to
respond to somebody else, and they need things on a timely manner too. So we want to meet that 30 to 45 day goal. So basically, long explanation to tell you 30 to 45 days.
Yeah, and Priscley's right, guys. I know when the market was crazy here in the in the summertime, springtime around there, it was actually taking a little bit longer because of the appraisals. There were so many purchases that the appraisers couldn't keep up. So sometimes that's just out of our control, and we just do the best what we can. But if we're communicating with your lender and letting them know, hey, how's everything going? Is the client getting all the paperwork in? The seller's agents understand that, we know that it's just taking a little bit longer because the market's so crazy. So good explanation.
All right. So next question, actually we just touched on it a little bit. Should I get a home inspection?
Absolutely. So we teach first-time homebuyer classes, and we actually have some great inspectors that come and talk about the importance of a home inspection. And I mean, man, we could literally go about 20 more minutes talking about a home inspection, but I mean, they tell you everything about the home, from the roof to the foundation to your plumbing to your electrical, everything. And I mean, depending on your square footage, it's about 400, 450, right around there. But it's the best purchase you can make because it just gives you that peace of mind. And we had actually made a video before about the home warranty, another good peace of mind, because if something breaks down, at least you're somewhat covered for your new home. So home inspection, absolutely, guys. Make sure you guys get those in. If you guys need any referrals for home inspectors, comment below and we'll get to you guys. Our area in the Tri-Cities, we have many great home inspectors that we've personally worked with, and we'd love to refer to you guys.
Right. So just to touch bases, even on new construction, we do recommend home inspections, especially. Reason being is in the Tri-Cities, we have really good builders, really good contractors. But the situation is a contractor hires jobs in and out. So there's constantly people doing different work on your house. We want to make sure that everything is pieced together correctly, and every builder in the area offers a home warranty for a whole year anyway. So anything that could have been missed or anything like that, they're going to take care of regardless. So you want to know about it up front. You want to get it taken care of. So yeah, even on new construction, you want to have a home inspection.
Absolutely. And like I remember one of our home inspectors said, we're human. We all make mistakes. It's not that we meant to do that. So we just want to triple check that you're good. And I remember that house that we thought, oh man, this is a perfect house for our client.
I remember that.
Amazing house. I mean, everything that was on her wish list was literally in this house.
And to us, the house looked really good too.
It looked amazing. Well, when we got our home inspection, guys, there was termites. The plumbing was crazy. The electrical was crazy.
And it's all stuff in the back that you can't see.
Yeah.
Cosmetically, the house looked perfect.
It did. And so it was nice, though. I mean, it was a bummer because she really fell in love with the home, but we got to back out, get our earnest money. The only loss to us was the home inspection fee.
Right.
But again, I mean, when you're making that big purchase, I don't think $400 is anything compared to what you're investing.
She actually even said, that client, she was like, I'm so happy that I spent that money, because had I not, I would have gotten into this house that was, I hate to say it, but it was masked. It looked great. And then I would have ended up with all these expensive issues, literally, that would have manifested themselves probably within a month of moving in.
Yeah.
So it was totally worth it. She was happy. She didn't care that she had spent that amount of money.
And this actually brings me to another point is sellers should actually I always preach to my sellers, do a pre-inspection, because honestly, just because the home has termites doesn't mean oh my gosh, this home is wrecked for good. Right. No, I mean, it could get treated, but especially with first-time home buyers, I feel like that scares them. Oh my gosh, if it has termites, then what else?
Right.
So, and actually, they took the house off the market for a period of time. They got everything fixed that we had asked for. Our client didn't move on with that purchase, but I do know that it went under contract and sold. And like I said, when you get good people to do the work and fix the work for you guys, the house is solid, and the contractors will stand by their work. So absolutely, guys, get your home inspections. And sellers, we keep on telling you guys when we list your house, get a home inspection. I don't care if you've lived there for 17 years and you swear by it. It could honestly cost you guys a lot more money at the end, because what sometimes buyers do is, let's just say your sink was leaking, they'll either back out, which costs you time, or they'll say, you know what, we want $500 off, when in reality it might have cost you $100 to $50, or maybe something you could do it yourself, or just little things, guys, little maintenance. Alrighty.
Okay, so when can I back out if I change my mind?
Good question. So it just kind of depends. Every agent writes their offers a little bit differently, so I'm just going to kind of speak how we write our offers.
Right.
But typically, we have, when an agent writes an offer, we have 2 days to deliver the earnest money, and then 10 days for home inspection. That's usually the norm, 10 days.
Let me just ask you really quick, just in case there's a lot of first-time home buyers out
Sure.
there. What is earnest money?
Okay, earnest money is considered like a deposit. It's consideration to telling the seller, like, for example, let's just say you like this home right here, and we told the seller, hey, you know what? We really like this home. We're going to give you a certain amount of earnest money consideration for the home to take this particular home off the market.
Okay.
And that's when we get to do an inspection if your agent puts it, in which most agents do put a
Right.
home inspection addendum in there. You usually have about 10 days. A lot of people say, okay, what happens if, I don't know, I don't like the home because X,
Right.
Y, and Z is wrong? Well, we can negotiate with the seller, like, hey, can you fix the electrical? If the seller's like, hey, no, I'm sorry, I can't afford it, then you can back out and still get your earnest money.
Right.
So typically, I'm going to say the first 10 days you can get out and get your earnest money back, so whatever the amount, without getting penalized. In reality, you can, I hate to say this, but you can back out any time, but you'll forfeit your earnest money if your agent wrote the contract that way. I want to be very clear
Right.
because some of us write it a little bit differently.
Yeah, and there is another addendum in there that's called the financing addendum. So
Yeah.
most people are buying their houses with financing. You could be buying it cash. Cash is king. We'll close in like 2 weeks.
If that,
max.
right? Usually
yeah,
it's
that's
like
like max. That's a long
3
time.
days.
Yeah. So, but if you're using financing, we have what's called the financing addendum, and like we said, every agent might write it up a little bit different, but it is the norm for agents to put in a financing addendum in their offer. So, what that states is if you lose your financing, but let me phrase this, if you lose your financing because maybe you lost your job or the lender missed something in your financing and says, oops, you know what, I messed up, or like I missed that, so you no longer have financing, then we can back out and you're covered with that addendum and you can still get your earnest money back. But there are ways for you as a buyer to skew your financing, and then the lenders say, you know what, you're no longer approved. In that case, we can't get your earnest money back. So as
For example, like let's just say I was pre-approved with the lender, and then for some reason I go buy a new car and I didn't communicate that with my lender, and he or she told me, hey, don't do anything with your finances, don't go buy
Right.
furniture or anything, and I knew he told me this, I went to go buy a new car, so I no longer qualify for my home loan.
right.
You do not get your earnest money back because you did
Basically,
something.
now you have, on average, like another $20,000 debt because that car is really fancy and really nice
And I hope you can live in it now.
because you can't get a loan. No, we're kidding. But we will tell you that.
Or maybe you could turn it into a van.
Yeah.
There you go.
Trade it in for a larger car because you need some space. No. Okay, so we will be like, if you're our client, we do warn you of all this stuff. We don't want you to accidentally make any mistakes that are going to
No.
hurt your financing. Actually, you know what? I did have a client one time. He needed a commuter, and so he told me, he's like, you know what? I'm going to have to hold off on buying the house because I do need that car. And I said, cool. So he actually came back like a year later, and he ended up buying a house. But at the time, that was his higher need at the
That was
time.
his priority. And that's
Right.
okay, too.
And it is what it is. We just want you to be informed. We don't want you to make accidents that
And
are
in
going
the
to hurt you.
Tri-Cities, guys, we have a lot of great agents, and your agents should be
Mhm.
communicating that with you, and I'm sure they are.
Right. Okay.
Awesome.
So,
So now we are time with our flashcards.
Oh, yeah.
Flashcards, please.
So if you guys are already in the buying process, we're sure that you've heard your agent talk and they might be using some acronyms that you're like, what in the world was that? But I'm not going to interrupt. I'm not even going to ask. Or like, we want you to know. So what we're going to do is we're going to signal some acronyms. I guess if you don't tell us what you think they are, we will tell you what they are anyways. So
Our first one, MLS. Priscley, what is the MLS? What does it stand
The
for?
MLS, so you'll hear your agent use this acronym a lot during the time that that you're looking for houses. The MLS is the multiple listing service. which basically means this is like the main website that all of us realtors are in. There's over, I think there's close to 800, if not over, agents in the Tri-Cities. So we all use the multiple listing service to put our listings on it. So whenever, you know, we're trying to show you houses, this is going to be our pot where we're going to find the house that is going to work for you. There are a lot of apps. We know that there's Zillow, the more popular ones, Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com. So Realtor.com, they're not like directly associated with us, just so you know. They just have that name. But the MLS
They're
is what
linked,
is
though,
most.
to the MLS, right?
Yeah, they are linked, so they do stay more up to date than Trulia and Zillow.
Yes.
Not hating, no shade. I'm just saying.
I always tell my buyers, though, if you want to be heartbroken, go to Zillow and Trulia, because they don't update it as currently.
They don't.
I would say the most current
is Realtor.com.
Is Realtor.com, because they say they update every 15 minutes.
Sometimes, I don't know that is true, but
yeah, sometimes they're a little off. But
right.
I mean, if you're just kind of wanting to see what's out there, if you're just wanting to see what's out there, I would stick to that.
Adam, hi. Is it backwards?
Is it backwards?
We'll watch it later. I don't know.
Oh man, I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do about that.
All right.
So my point is, the MLS, whenever your agent is using this, which they all will be, to show you houses, this is going to be most accurate.
Awesome. CMA, you said you were going to come back. CMA. It's the current market analysis.
Oh, that's right. I used that word earlier, or that acronym. So yeah.
So what a CMA is whether you're buying or selling. We'll sometimes use this, and this is what I was talking about, guys, that when you say, how do you know?
It's this way, CMA. I see what you're talking about, Adam.
So, sorry. When, whether you're buying or selling, a lot of times agent will say, okay, let me do a CMA. So it's a current market analysis of your home or your area. Mm-hmm. We use the same data that an appraiser would use, and a lot of times we get this a lot, oh my gosh, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Mm-hmm. But like I was saying, it just shows you what the current market is doing in certain areas, or we could even do the whole Tri-Cities. Sometimes you'll see I do current market updates, and it shows you what sold in the Tri-Cities. And that's just nice, whether you're buying or selling or just wanting to know. Real estate, it really affects our economy, so it's good to keep up to date
on it. And as far as for Araceli and I can't speak for every realtor out there, but feel free to call us if you ever are just curious about what the value of your home is. We will go out there. Like I said, for us, it's no expense. Like, we will just go out there, get you a number, because we understand that sometimes when you're trying to make big life decisions, you kind of have to have a more understanding of the numbers. At the end of the day, it comes down to numbers. So we do offer that, where we will come give you a market analysis of your house. Seriously, no strings attached. It is what it is.
Yeah, because you have to know, does it make sense for you to sell, or to downsize, or to get a bigger home? Mm-hmm. And you have to create a new budget for that, so that's a good one. Mm-hmm. All right, next one, Priscley.
This is FSBO, for sale by owner. So we say like FSBO. I don't know, we just do. But what these are is they don't show up on the MLS. On the MLS. They don't show up on the multiple listing service.
But your agent can still work with one. So we always tell buyers, hey, if you're working with an agent, tell your agent, hey, I've seen this home, take a picture of it, give us your number, and the agent can do the rest for you guys.
Every for sale by owner is totally different. So some of them are gonna list on their little sign that says for sale by owner. Like their phone number, or others, like they don't even have that. So just let us know that you're interested in a particular house. If we have to, which we have plenty of times, we literally go and we knock on the door and
we do the legwork for you guys.
We do the legwork for you guys. It is really important that you as a buyer use an agent, because this is really important. We haven't thrown this in there, but as a buyer, it doesn't cost you anything to use a realtor.
Oh, that's a good one.
So a lot of times when sellers are going for sale by owner, they're trying to save themselves the commission that the seller does pay to realtors. That's fine, but you still want to have backing as a buyer. Like I said, it doesn't cost you anything to have a real estate agent. So that's what FSBO, for sale by owner.
Yay. All right, next one. HVAC.
I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know. And I'm not like just saying guys. I'm just saying people in general. I'm pretty sure you guys know what HVAC is, or at least you have a general idea of it. Most of you have some in your house. What is it?
It is your heating and cooling system. I always say HVAC a lot, and people are like, what? And I'm like, your heating and cooling system.
Right. So that's HVAC.
Pretty simple.
Central heating and air in your
Sometimes
house.
they'll come up in inspections. They'll just need some maintenance or the furnace, something small. All right, our next one, FHA.
So this is Federal Housing Association. It is the most common, depending on your price range, but it is one of the more common government loans. Your loan officer can go into more depth about the details of this loan and other loans that are offered, but this is a really common one. Typically, unless there's like a special program going on, your down payment on an FHA loan might be somewhere around 3.5%. But like I said, a lender is going to be able to better give you specifics about that.
Awesome. Thank you, Priscley. Our next one, HUD. I love these. They will drive you nuts if you go under contract with one. They just take a little bit more process, but a HUD home is a home that the bank has taken back from the seller because they have no longer made their payments.
So another word that you might hear for that is going to be a foreclosure. It's the same thing. So a lot of times these houses are in the neighborhoods and they've already got, you can usually tell because they have like papers on the windows or on the doors. Unless there's a real estate sign, like a for sale sign outside of the property, we've tried it multiple times where we try to get a hold of the bank before that and we have no luck. But as soon as that house goes on the market, it's fair game. We go in there, and if the house is worth it, because sometimes they need a lot more work than,
that's so true. A lot of people
like sometimes they're not always great deals. Sometimes they are, and usually what makes them is the neighborhood that they're in. But sometimes these houses can need so much work, and your real estate agent will tell you, like, I would go for this, or they might say, well, just start calculating how much work this house is going to need, and then let's figure out if it's still going to be worth it at the end of the day. You know
and be
I mean?
Realistic. Don't watch too much HGTV and think you're the Property Brothers and think you can do it on your own.
If you have a job, you probably don't have time to be doing those sorts of upgrades to your house or updates.
Yeah, make sure you feel comfortable with them. The hard thing about these is that most of the time, when the house comes on the market, they'll give it about a week, and they don't counter you back. They usually just say, okay guys, give me your best and final. So it's so hard, and people are usually like, what should I bid, because it needs X, Y, and Z, and sometimes it is hard. What we can do is a CMA and see, like, okay, well, if it was in this condition, we could sell it in this price in today's market. And that's really important to remember in today's market, because it's hard for a real estate agent to guarantee that price. Sorry, somebody was passing by. So HUD homes, like I said, it's when a bank has taken the home back from the seller because they have no longer made payments. So I got this one question for you. What is the difference between a HUD home and a short sale?
Oh, okay. So that's a really good question. A HUD home, it's already been through the process of, like she said, the seller wasn't, or I should say the homeowner that had the house was not making their mortgage payments. A HUD home has already gone through the process of the bank removing the people, and then it being in the system as a house that's being taken back and then put back on the market to sell to a buyer.
It belongs to the bank.
It belongs to the bank. A short sale, that's a house that still belongs to the seller. So I'm just going to put myself in their shoes. So I'm the seller of this house. Well, the reason I'm the seller is because I can no longer afford my house. Maybe I've gone 3-4 months without making mortgage payments, and the bank is telling me, like, hey, you got to do something. Either you pay us our payments, or you put your house on the market and sell it. We'll take the money that you owe us once you sell the house. But it's a time where the seller's really pressured because they are on a deadline with the bank. The bank is giving them a chance to sell the house, but they need to get rid of it because at this point the person probably can't afford it anymore. So what that means to you as a buyer is we got to be patient. So if that's the house that you like, we made the offer. Anytime we're dealing with a bank, because not only does the seller accept your offer, the seller has to present that same offer to the bank, and the bank has to say, all right, yes, you can take that offer. But a lot of times they take a really long time to get back to us. That's just how banks work. They're busy. They're not, that house is not going to be the only house that they're selling, so that's why they take a long time to respond to us. But that's the difference. So a HUD home, the bank already has it. A short sale, the seller's still there. We still have to talk to the seller, but the seller is also in communication with the bank, and the bank has to make approvals.
Absolutely. I want to say that the short sales take a little bit longer because we have to go through with the seller or the owner, the current owner, and the bank. They both have to okay it. And it doesn't matter, let's just say you make an offer on the home and the seller accepts it, excuse me, they still have to ask the bank, like, hey, are you willing to take this loss for the home? Because ultimately it's the bank who's going to decide, and sometimes the bank will counter the buyer at that time and say, okay, you know, how about this amount? And that honestly can take quite a bit longer sometimes.
Right.
So, all right, so our next one is
VA. So I'm sure there are some of you who know what a VA loan is, because if you have served any time in the military, I mean, there are more specific terms, and because we are talking about loans, like I said, loan officers are going to be able to give you more definite answers to these loan questions. But basically, a V loan is presented to anybody who's been out and done service to our country. They are favorable loans. They have really good terms. So, you know, if you have been in the military, or maybe somebody really immediate in your family has been, go talk to a lender. There might be something you could take advantage of and get a really nice loan with that.
There is a lot of great programs and loans out there for veterans out there. So thank you for your service, guys. We appreciate it. Our next one, USDA. I wish we had this loan back to the boundaries it used to be.
So this was super popular. This is another loan. This was super popular. How long ago? Like,
gosh, like maybe 2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah. So
in West Pasco.
In West Pasco. So check this out. You guys know that West Pasco's been developed for like over 15 years now. Like, there used to be nothing there, but now that it's, you guys
blown
know.
up.
Okay. So USDA about 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago, even a little bit before that, it was zoned, because USDA will only be zoned for particular areas of a city.
Right?
Boundaries. So it was zoned for Road 68. So we were selling houses like hotcakes there, because, I mean, what it is at that particular time, it was 0 down payment. So you were getting into a really nice house with 0 down.
Never had to pay back.
Never had to pay back. It's changed. And so now what it is they want to develop rural agricultural areas. That's what that A is for, agricultural. Well, it was nice because Road 68, there was still houses on there. There wasn't necessarily anything to develop. It was developed. So we were selling houses to a lot of buyers, and they were getting a great loan with 0 down, not having to pay back. But like we said, they did recently change the boundaries. We have had a couple clients, I think you have one,
right now,
who approved for USDA loan. It's just really hard to find a house because they really did switch it to neighborhoods that are not developed. So there's like nothing there. There's land, and we can't really develop on that. It's not developed yet.
So the boundaries that we're talking about in West Pasco was Madison Park, where Viking builds. Man, those were just going like crazy, and I mean, they build a nice home,
right?
And great price. Lot sizes are amazing, so people were just buying up those houses like crazy. They kept on kind of extending where it was in that area, and then they recently moved it to Power Line Road. So we still have some north of Pasco, but it's just really hard to find anything.
It's a very limited amount of inventory, and by limited we mean like small amount of houses that are out there.
Yeah, especially in Pasco. In Burbank you can find some, Findlay and Benton City. Those are considered USDA. So if you can get one of these loans, they're amazing. The trick is trying to find a home that fits this criteria, and I wish they would bring it back so all of West Pasco could be USDA, but unfortunately it's not. All right, our next one.
What does that say? We're just kidding. It's backwards on my personal phone, but we're also live on Coldwell Banker Tomlinson Associated Brokers page.
Yes.
On there, I think it's fine, but this says the HOA. So, some of you guys, I think maybe some of you guys, if you know what it is, type it in. Some of you guys might live in neighborhoods that have HOAs. What is an HOA?
So what an HOA does is they hold a standard to the neighborhood. So sometimes they have rules and regulations, and sometimes fees that come with them. And it's just rules and regulations to make sure that the standard of the neighborhood is kept up. Right. So for example, they might have, you can't paint your house hot pink. I know you guys love hot pink, but we can't paint it hot pink.
I do.
I remember one time, we were sitting at that open house and we were reading that book, and it literally named it like you couldn't have more than like 3 pets or something.
Oh, so the most strict, so we've heard, and we've sold a couple houses in there, the most strict neighborhood for HOA association, the home association, is Ivy Glades in Pasco, off of Court Street, past Road 68. But if you walk in there, it is like the nicest neighborhood ever. It is so peaceful, but it is because they're so strict. They're the ones that had limitations on pets, amount of guests. But I mean, it just depends on what your lifestyle is like and maybe where you're at in your life. Like I always say, whenever I'm like past 60, I want to be there. I don't want people coming over. I don't want nobody bugging me. That's where I want to be. So it just kind of depends. There are other neighborhoods that have HOAs and they're like no big deal. It's just like don't leave your trash can in front of your garage past garbage day. Little things like that like she said are just to keep up the standard of your house.
The standards and the values of the neighborhood. And which, honestly, guys, it could be a good thing because, you know, if your neighbor doesn't mow his lawn or let's just say it's peeling paint, I mean, when you go to sell your home, that's actually going to hurt your home value or even maybe your sale. Because what I always tell my clients is when you walk into your home, look around the neighborhood. If my sweater's falling. If the neighborhood is upkept, chances are that's going to be a great neighborhood to live in.
Oh, yeah.
But if you see, you know, junk everywhere, I always say, let's keep on looking. Let's look for that perfect neighborhood.
If your neighbor isn't respecting the neighborhood, that's basically what an HOA does. It just ensures that everybody is doing a really good job at making their property look well. I mean, why would you not want that?
And there's certain ones that are stricter than others, and you just have to find, honestly, the one that you feel comfortable and you're okay with.
Yep.
All right, I think we got, nope, that's it.
That was it.
We are done. Well, guys, this was our first time going live, so thank you to Coldwell Banker for giving us the opportunity. And again, guys, we're going to, 2 other agents will be doing this in 2 weeks, so please help support them.
Like our Coldwell Banker Tomlinson page, because I'm talking to my personal right now. So what it is we're also live on there. So go ahead and like that page, get notifications from us, go on there and find us.
We have giveaways for ColdwellBanker.com, so that's cool. Sometimes they give away tickets to just all sorts of things. So and they keep us updated on our market.
Yep.
So thank you guys. Thank you for supporting us. We'll see you soon. If you guys have any real estate questions, buying, building, or selling, go ahead and give us a call. Bye guys. Thank you.